Welcome parents to Unity Connects. For this session, we would like to introduce an in-house program designed for Primary 1 and 2 students, our Brain Gym program. Our sharing will touch on these aspects. Why Brain Gym? Followed by an overview of the program. We will also share about the activities in Brain Gym, after which we will provide some hands-on session before concluding the sharing and a survey. First, why did the school decide to start this Brain Gym program for the Primary 1 and 2 students? The purpose of this program is to provide opportunities for our lower primary students to engage in structured play involving brain-stimulating activities as part of their learning. This idea started during a discussion session on students' learning progress among teachers. Teachers were concerned that some students were unable to perform up to expectations despite their best efforts. While brainstorming on possible problems faced by these students, teachers felt that these students are likely not mentally ready to optimize their learning due to three broad reasons: lack of sleep, obsession with electronic devices, and lack of brain stimulation. Thus, the birth of our Brain Gym program. Numerous research have shown that the first critical brain development begins at around age 2. This development is fastest at around age 4 to 5 and concludes by age 7. By age 5, almost 90% of the brain development have completed. Thus, we try to capture the narrow window of opportunity between ages 6 and 8 by providing opportunities for our students to engage in brain-stimulating activities during this prime development stage. Let's take a look at the structure of the program. Based on the 8 cognitive domains, our school's various programs such as the Accelerated Learning Program or ALP, PE lessons, PAL, FTGP and CCAs are already addressing several domains. Thus, for the Brain Gym program, we focuses on the visual spatial, memory, and attention domains. As Brain Gym spans over 2 years in Primary 1 and 2, the activities for these sessions are spiral in nature. There are 2 parts to each lesson. Firstly, a visual discrimination or visual memory exercise, followed by playing a brain-stimulating game. The games to be played by a class is rotated each term. Thus, students will be exposed to 4 games in a year. In Primary 1, they will try their hands on Sudoku and Tangram at a basic level, puzzles, and bingo, also known as Connect 4. In Primary 2, students would have Sudoku and Tangram at a slightly more advanced level, Reversi, as well as Uno.
Let's take a look at the activities that we have for Brain Gym. What are visual discrimination and visual memory? How do these exercises benefit the children? Visual discrimination is the ability to recognize the details in visual images. Strong visual discrimination skill allows children to detect differences and similarities in size, shapes, colors, and patterns. Visual discrimination is especially important when learning reading, writing, and mathematics. Teaching visual discrimination skill is all about helping children pay attention to the details. These are some visual discrimination activities. Very similar pictures, words, or numbers are shown to the students, and they have to identify the correct pictures that they have seen.
Visual memory is the ability to immediately remember or recall information such as activities, pictures, or words that have been viewed in the past. Visual memory skill is essential for learning as it allows a child to remember how a symbol, an object, a shape, or a form looks like. Children with poor visual memory skills may struggle to recognize numbers and letters, remember sight words, or copy work from the board or the book, as they struggle to remember what they see on the board and have to keep checking back.
These are some examples of visual memory activities. The students are shown some pictures, numbers, or symbols for a few seconds, and then they have to try to remember what they see. In this activity, the students have to look at the items for 10 seconds and then try to their best to remember them. In the next activity, they have to look at the pictures and remember the sequence. The power of play. Research has shown that play fosters cognitive growth and delivers emotional and behavioral benefits. Let's move on to take a look at the fun games that the students play in Brain Gym. Playing with puzzles is effective in helping children with their hand-eye coordination. Before placing a piece, the children have to see the spot and then move the piece to the exact space with their hands. Paying attention requires us to focus on one thing for a sustained period of time. When children are given the opportunity to work on a puzzle until completion without interruption, it helps to improve their concentration level. When solving puzzles, children learn to identify which pieces will fit together by analyzing their shapes and colors. Initially, they find the correct fit by turning the pieces around. Then slowly, they progress to do this in their heads rather than by trial and error. The act of putting the pieces of a puzzle together improves short-term memory and problem-solving skills. A tangram is a puzzle made up of 7 geometric shapes, 5 triangles, a square, and a parallelogram that can be arranged to form many different designs. Tangrams can be used to teach spatial relationships. Spatial relationships refer to the children's understanding of how objects and people move in relation to each other. When children play with tangrams, they will be looking at the pieces from various angles and perspectives. They will rotate, slide, flip, and turn the pieces around to create other objects. Through exploring the 7 shapes of the tangram, we can encourage children to create their own designs and solutions that will enable them to develop their own strategies. This will help to improve their imagination. Tangrams require kids to solve problems as they manipulate the shapes to create new objects. By allowing children to explore this exercise freely, we encourage them to discover things on their own and develop their own ways of doing things. As a result, they will build confidence and gain more independence. Connect 4 is a 2-player connection board game. The players choose a color and then take turns to drop colored tokens into a 7-column, 6-row vertically suspended grid. The winner is the first player to form a horizontal, vertical, or diagonal line of 4 of one's own tokens. Let's watch a video to find out how to play Connect 4.
Connect 4. How to play. Set up the board. Each player picks a color. One at a time, players alternate dropping their chip into one of the columns. The first player to connect 4 in a row horizontally, vertically, or diagonally wins.
Cognitive skills are used to understand better, process information, remember things, and apply new information to existing information and work things out. Connect 4 requires a child to watch what is happening on the grid, remember the move of the opponent and his or her previous move, and be able to quickly think ahead when the opponent makes a move. The child has to think strategically with each and every move. Winning a game of Connect 4 is about strategy. Children playing Connect 4 may miss certain opportunities to win the game if they do not think one step ahead. They learn that the way to win the game is to plan ahead, and in this way, they would develop forward thinking and planning skills. These skills are important and can be applied to many other areas of life. Sudoku is a logic-based number placement puzzle. As picture Sudoku is a fun and gentle introduction to the world of Sudoku, we start the P1 students with 4x4 Sudoku puzzles that consist of pictures first, before introducing the Sudoku puzzles with numbers to them. As for the P2 students, they move on to solve 6x6 Sudoku puzzles that involve pictures or numbers. Studies have shown that Sudoku improves the memory capacity of the children. They have to remember whether they have used a number in a particular column, row, or box. Hence, solving Sudoku puzzles repeatedly will help to sharpen the children's short-term and long-term memory. Sudoku is a great tool for teaching children the skill of abstract reasoning. The children have to ask two main questions: what to place and where to place, while trying to solve the puzzles. The children engage in logical thinking to fill the grid correctly. Sometimes they even have to go through the process of trial and error. This will eventually help to develop their problem-solving skills. Sometimes, while trying to solve Sudoku puzzles, the environment may not be conducive. It may be noisy or distracting. Children need to learn to stay focused and concentrate in solving the puzzles. Usually, they do not succeed in solving the puzzle in the very first go. The process involves trial and error, and this teaches the children to be patient and resilient, not giving up easily. Reversi is a strategy board game played by two players. Players take turns placing these on the board with their assigned color facing up. To win, the player needs to have more pieces on the board than his or her opponent by the end of the game. Let's watch a video on how to play Reversi.
Hello and welcome to How to Play Reversi, presented by GatherTogetherGames.com. This video will cover how to play the board game Reversi. The video will start with the general concepts and gameplay, and then get into more of the details for the game. The game is played with two players. To play, you will need a Reversi game board and pieces. The game pieces all have a black side and a white side. One player will play the black side, and the other player will play the white side. The game begins with two black pieces and two white pieces set up in the center of the game board like this. The object of the game is to have more of your color of pieces on the board than your opponent at the end of the game. Game pieces can be placed on the board when it is possible to trap one or more of your opponent's pieces horizontally, vertically, or diagonally. Here, black places a piece that traps a white piece horizontally. When a trap is made, all pieces between the trap are flipped over. Black takes the first turn. A piece must be placed where at least one opponent piece will be flipped. After black makes their move, it is white's turn to play a piece. White will flip the piece trapped. Play returns to black to make a move. Black is able to trap a white piece diagonally. Play returns to white, who traps and flips a black piece. Black plays another diagonal trap. It is possible to trap in more than one direction. Here, white traps black vertically and diagonally. Play returns to black, and players continue to take turns playing their game pieces and flipping over trapped opponent pieces. Once no more moves can be made by either player, the game is over. White plays a piece on the last open spot to end this game. The player with more of their colored pieces up wins the game. Here, black wins with 46 pieces up to white's 18 pieces up. If a player is unable to trap an opponent's piece, their turn is skipped. Here, black doesn't have a move to make and their turn is skipped. White will play another piece. If a player is able to get their opponent's pieces all flipped down, they win the game. That wraps up how to play Reversi. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and find more game tutorials by subscribing to the channel Gather Together Games. Thanks for watching.
Just like Sudoku, playing Reversi also helps a child to improve their memory. The child needs to keep an eye on the opponent and be attentive. He or she needs to be always prepared and make his or her move whenever the opponent makes a mistake. It will help the child's mind in multitasking and remembering things. This will help to improve their memory. Playing board games like Reversi will help to enhance children's brain's activities. They will be able to think differently and boost up their spatial reasoning abilities. This will help to develop their logical thinking and reasoning skills. Uno is a card game that is played with specially printed deck. Players take turns matching a card in their hands with the current card shown on top of the deck, either by color or number. The first player to get rid of all the cards in his or her hand wins. Let's watch a video on how to play Uno.
To play Uno, you'll need at least 2 players. But the more you have, the better. Start by dealing 7 cards to each player. Then place the remaining cards face down in the middle of the table. This is the draw pile. Turn the first card of the draw pile face up and place it in a separate pile. This is the discard pile. The first player starts by playing a card that matches either the number, color, or type of the card on top of the discard pile. If a player wants to change the color in a play for any reason, they can play a wild card and choose a new color. If the player can't play any of their cards, they must draw a card from the draw pile. If the card drawn matches the color, number, or type of the card on top of the discard pile, they can play it. If not, the game moves on to the next player. As soon as a player is down to just 1 card, they must yell Uno before anyone else notices. If anyone else says Uno first, the player must draw 2 cards from the draw pile. The player that plays all of their cards wins. As you play, you will notice several types of cards. A skip card that skips the next player. A reverse card that changes the direction of play. A draw 2 card that forces that next player to draw 2 cards and skip their turn. And a wild draw 4 card which is a combination of a wild and a draw card. These cards make the game even more fun.
When playing Uno, children have to learn to use their cards strategically. The aim of the game is to get rid of their hand of cards as quickly as possible. They have to plan which cards to discard or save for later when they need them. Anything can happen in a game of Uno, and things are consistently changing. A change of direction card or a skip card may have the children lose the opportunities to discard their cards. This may create certain level of frustration. The ability to be adaptable and flexible in this environment helps children to learn how to go with the flow when things do not go as planned or expected. Games have an impact on how children experience and manage the feelings that come with both winning and losing. Playing a game of Uno allows the children to learn good sportsmanship. They learn that they need to follow the rules of the game when they play. It is also a golden opportunity to teach them how to handle losing. Now, we will have a hands-on activity on visual memory. There will be 3 questions. Parents, please have a piece of blank paper and a pen or pencil for this activity. For question 1, you will be shown a picture for 3 seconds, and then you will be given 4 options to choose in the next slide. Are you ready? Which is the correct answer? Parents, please pause the video while you attempt the question. Press resume whenever you are ready to check the answer. Let's check the answer. The answer is B. Let's move on to the next question. For question 2, you will be shown a 3x3 table with crosses and circles for 3 seconds. Then you have to replicate the table with the crosses and circles on your paper. Are you ready? Parents, please pause the video while you attempt the question. Press resume whenever you are ready to check the answer. Let's check the answer. Parents, do you remember the positions of the crosses and circles correctly? Great! Let's move on to the last question. For question 3, look at all the items for 7 seconds and try to remember as many items as possible. Are you ready? Now, please pause the video while you list down the items on the paper and press resume when you're ready to check the answer. Hi parents, let's check the answer. There are 6 items: sandwich, cupcake, car, notebook, orange, and fowl. Can you remember all the 6 items? Great! Hi parents, we have come to the end of our sharing on Brain Gym in this month's Unity Connects 2022. Hope you can spend some time during this coming June holidays to play the games like Uno, Reversi, or Connect 4 with your child. Please scan the QR code and give us your feedback for this sharing. Thank you.